only way to start your day.
Not even words as per how a solution can be reached to the problems that we see. We're having a conversation this morning. This is the Situation Room, and our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. Our audience on KTN this morning, of course, following with what's going on around the country on this particular day, but also moving certain conversations in terms of things that must be done. Many people are of the opinion that a new administration, new government is needed, and we're seeing that a lot of those conversations are pushing in that direction. One of the proponents of such is the Member of Parliament for Kitutu Masaba, Clive Gisairo, and he's in the hot seat this morning. Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing great.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Welcome for the first time to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Sure, thank you.
We've seen you. Now we'll hear you. We're going to be looking at the Linda Mwananchi push and agenda in terms of what exactly that is. And we're seeing I want to say new faces, but I also say that I prefer to say more faces pushing new agenda. And along those lines is what we'll speak today. But one of the things that we do is we go around the African continent every week. We land in a different African country and we come back with their proverbs. Well, Dennis does. If I'm lucky, I get a chocolate. But he brings you a proverb. We'd love to get your interpretation of it.
So today we are in Gabon, yeah? And just a few things about Gabon. It's an oil powerhouse because they are the top 4 largest oil producers. And they also mine manganese. But one thing that stands out is that in their country, it is mandatory for everyone to go and participate in elections by voting. If you don't, hefty fines. Kenya 6-7, but anyway. But let's go to the proverb. A fool looks for dung where the cow never browsed. How would you interpret it?
A fool?
Looks for dung where the cow never browsed.
A fool looks for dung where the cow never browsed. This is someone who's harvesting where you never plowed. You didn't work, but you want to profit here in the evening.
Wow.
Well said.
Very well said.
Yeah.
I didn't actually think about that because I think
yeah.
Absolutely. Because I think about what people use dung for, and we can imagine it's just waste, but it's actually a vital component.
It's a vital component.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you go to look for that precious thing that you didn't work for, then it's very difficult for you to harvest it.
Yeah.
I keep saying it's fascinating how the human mind works.
True.
Thank you for that.
Well said.
So Linda Mwananchi,
Yes.
what is the push from where you sit as a member of parliament as a member of parliament for where there is a lot of expectation in terms of legislature and in terms of budget making and oversight.
Right.
Now we are looking at a side that is saying we need better for Kenya.
Sure.
That seems to be what we hear. Where are things today?
Thank you. First of all, many people became aware of the team Linda Mwananchi around this year, January, February. But Linda Mwananchi is older than that.
Okay.
At first, you used to refer to us as Kenya Moja.
Okay.
If you remember, the team
Yes.
referred to as Kenya Moja,
Yes.
while Baba was still alive. That is actually the same team.
Okay.
And it started from the day broad-based came into being, where some of us did feel like joining and supporting the government was really not what the Kenyans expected of us. We are elected to represent the people. And this idea that there are parliamentarians who are in government and some who are not is, first of all, something that has been driven into the people's mind, which is wrong. The Mwananchi is now being forced to believe that you are either in government or not. The way the constitution of Kenya is made is actually that legislature is part of government.
Yes.
Government is a 3-legged stool,
Yeah.
which has executive, legislature, and judiciary. And each has its own leadership, who are technically independent of each other. And they are supposed to provide checks and balances.
Yeah.
But now we've reached a point whereby part of parliament, which is actually the legislature, which is supposed to oversight the executive, is now claiming to be in government. And that's why we get it wrong, first of all, constitutionally. And that's why Linda Mwananchi, we are there to say, no, that is not our job. Our job is to, first of all, oversight this executive, ensure that the resources they've been given by the legislature through the budget, the implementation of activities takes place to the service of Mwananchi. So our main push is that we need to live with the by the Constitution, what it says and it dictates. We cannot start now paraphrasing it and people walking around focusing more instead of representing the people, they are now representing the executive. That's where we got it wrong, and that's why Linda Mwananchi stands up and says, we are not going to get there. Yes, majority will have their way, but we'll continue having our say. And who is the majority? To us, majority is the people. Article 1 of the Constitution gives the sovereign power to the people. The people are actually government. Ours is just because all of us cannot fit into that National Assembly. The Constitution says, elect this number of people, to be your voices. And if we start failing, then we fail the country. And we are saying we are not just going to follow the majority.
For a very long time, it's been seen as if the Linda Mwananchi faction is out there to oppose each and every single thing that the government is doing. And while that would be the same, many ask the question then, can we take this where we'll see results? Like we're talking today about fuel, right? So we have matters to do with, we see the conversations that are happening. But is Linda Mwananchi then perhaps looking at taking these to Parliament where we know issues to do with amendments perhaps to these levies would be tabled to see the changes that Mwananchi wants to see?
You see, I do agree with you that, yes, we can have these as legislative measures taken in the House. But as I've already told you, is that the way the current, and in Africa in general, even if you take it there, it will just be your say. They will still have their way because Parliament also is a democratic house and a vote has to be cast. A vote has to be cast, right? So, and once that vote has been cast, it's Parliament. I cannot exclude myself from it. I am part of that Parliament. You see, in 2022 went to the election, right? 50% plus something on top did elect William, right? William is the president. I cannot say he's not the president of Kenya. So democracy is whereby the majority dictate over the minority. 51% are dictators over the 49%. That's the reality. So yes, there are elements of, but you see, some of these things are not just coming up. Let's take an example of the oil prices. Go back to 2024, and we tell you where these problems begin. The 8% that was just being reversed a month ago, when did it come into being?
2023, I think.
2023, right? Some of us raised it and said, you're getting yourself in some deep mess. We are one of the few countries in the world who impose VAT on fuel. And remember, VAT was not there until Uhuru's time when they brought in the first 8%. It never used to be there. And it's actually very, not very sensible to have VAT on fuel because fuel is actually the driver of literally everything. So you cannot put VAT on it. Then in between the finance bill, while all of us were focused that the finance bill had collapsed, something got sneaked in. I raised it.
In Parliament?
In Parliament.
You raised it?
When they brought the amendment to the finance bill itself, a clause was sneaked in there. So, it's a big document. So somewhere in page 324, something was sneaked in there imposing the 7 shilling RMLF increase. I remember raising it, and then I remember that time the chair of finance, Kimani Kuria, Molo MP, even calling me to the bar. There's a place we consult there, just in front of the speaker, or those members of the opposing side, right? And told me there's nothing like that in the amendment. I told him, did you read your own document? Because it's signed by you. And then when I showed, he had to run to the speaker. I'm not aware how this thing got sneaked in here. And to be very honest, he didn't know.
Was it recalled?
remember the whole thing fell.
Indeed. It fell
But
apart,
once it
yeah.
fell, they went through cabinet. So the 7 shilling was still introduced through the cabinet. Because here it was even illegal to be in there. Because once you're doing the amendments, right, at the committee stage, you are amending something that was there in the original bill. So this one was never there. So what are you amending? You can't amend something that was not there. So it was something just being sneaked in. But the whole bill fell. So they went, used the cabinet, the CS at that time. That's how it was introduced. And therefore, your fuel went up by 8% on VAT, and now another 7 shillings on RMLF, which they've now securitized.
Why
so
was
even
that
if you
illegal? From what you're saying, at that point, because here we are at a crossroads now that's affecting things today
Right.
that was done years ago, 2-3 years ago. Now, what is the illegality of that 7% increase on the RMLF?
it's a 7 shillings.
7 shillings, I beg your
From
pardon.
18.
Yeah.
You know,
To 25, which is what we're dealing with
number
today.
one, these are things they even don't do public participation. Many people never even knew that it had happened.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew. And some of us told them, these things will come to bite you one day. For your information, I have 19 years experience in the petroleum industry. Actually, that's the only industry I've worked. So I told them these things will bite you. So they used to use a very weak way of bringing it in. Daytime, on 14th, when they are announcing the new price for the next month. That's how these things have always been introduced. Like that time, the fuel price was to drop by 9 shilling. So that was the best time to sneak it in. So introduce the 7 shilling and announce a 2 shillings drop. Just look when the 7 shilling was introduced. That month, what happened? You were announced to that the fuel had dropped by 2 shillings. But essentially, the fuel was to drop by 9 shillings. So you as Kenyans were happy that the fuel, you know, the way the media, you guys put it here, fuel goes down by 2 shillings, right? But actually, fuel was to go down by 9 shillings.
So
a permanent figure now had been introduced into the formula.
But now the question is that when you look at this 7 shillings that everybody pays, every time you purchase fuel, you pay the 7 shillings. We are told that it goes towards road maintenance. That's what we are told. Now, if this can be sneaked in, if it was sneaked in, rather it shouldn't have been sneaked in if it was going to be an overt operation in terms of something like the road maintenance levy. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where does the money then go? If it had to be sneaked in, where does this 7 shillings go? Does it actually go towards the
Don't forget
fund?
that RMLF is not 7 shillings.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's 25.
It's 25 shillings.
So
it was 18 shillings. We're adding 7 shillings on top. Now today, RMLF is 25 shillings on every litre of fuel that you buy. The cost of that 25 bob goes towards
the reason
RMLF.
some of us brought it up were like, first of all, in every litre that you buy, over 40% of it is taxes and levies.
Yes.
That's quite heavy.
It is.
That's quite heavy. And once you do that, that affects even the power. Remember, Kenya Power,
cost of power,
a good percentage of it is through Agreco, which is diesel powered. So even this month, the tokens you are getting for your 1,000 shillings is not what you'll be getting from this month. So we've always said that you cannot be putting these things in petroleum, because once you put it in petroleum, the ripple effect is across all sectors. Why don't we look for other tax-raising measures? And secondly, do we really need to look for tax, revenue-raising measures in a country where people are overburdened, right? So yes, you are saying this is going to road maintenance and all that. Where I come from, right, I'm not seeing any road. We're still using, the percentage of tarmac roads in my constituency is nothing to talk about. And I'm not seeing any new project going on. And most roads that you hear being commissioned nowadays, all of them, some are not contracted, some are not in the budget, including the Rironi Summit. It is things that we are saying, to keep the people excited. Mwananchi to say we were given a project. You cannot be given a project from the rooftop of a car. That's not how governments run. It's only in Kenya. And then once they come to Parliament, you find that the budget is already exhausted.
Yeah.
That's why most of the projects in Kenya today, look at all the roads that were commissioned between 2017, 2018, 2019 nationally. Most of them are stalled.
I mean, you know, you've talked about a leadership structure where, like members of parliament today, it's a donated responsibility to represent Mwananchi, right? The president is there who's voted for by the majority, but then again assumes power and is actually supposed to lead the entire country and listen to what people are saying. Where you sit as Linda Mwananchi, you engage with Mwananchi, as the name suggests, and you meet with them every single day. Do you reckon that what Mwananchi are saying is being listened to and being heard by the leadership there is today? Because even today we've just seen that before even the president left the country to go to Azerbaijan, there were indicators that the transport sector would down tools. But the president left.
You know,
are Kenyans being listened to?
William has intelligence. He gets all the intelligence about what happens, what's going to happen. He's very much aware. William's travel was not that he was going to handle a very urgent matter. After all, I say he was going to go and, I don't know, promote and market affordable housing, right? I thought it was meant for our low-income earner, Mwananchi. Why are you taking that idea to Azerbaijan? You're not going to look for funding because the housing levy, collection, they are unable to absorb it. They are unable to absorb it. So you're not short of funds. Right?
The money is there.
The money is there. It's in excess. To a point now, because they cannot absorb it fast enough, we even pushed that we have that money, do hostels for TVETs. So if you go around Kenya today, including the TVET in my constituency, there is a hostel project going on, courtesy of the housing levy, because they can't absorb that money. We are having secondary schools now receiving money to do classrooms and dining halls and dormitories, right? He has commissioned a few already in schools because they can't absorb the money. So I don't know what he's going to tell people in Azerbaijan about housing. And after all, you guys have paid housing levy now this is the fourth year. Any project you've seen being commissioned? A single one that you can name?
The one here,
the one in
the one for Mukuru is not Bomayangu. Kindly, let's also be telling Mwananchi what it is. That is a project that started under Uhuru's time.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Under one of the big four agenda.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
I remember we've been having the affordable housing for quite a while. So when William took over, he did launch Homa Bay 3 months after taking office. So that was not. So if you look at the design of the buildings in Homa Bay and Mukuru, they are the same. They don't resemble the Bomayangu one. So can you give me one? Because it's 4 years. I think when you're properly funded, that project can be done within
less than 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting because yesterday the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Gladys Boschole, said this is not the President's responsibility, especially now from some of the things that are going on. You might want to say that can be applied to other conversations. But in this space where we've come from, that there are things that Mwananchi are crying for and saying this must change, and the shift that you've spoken of, Clive. And then going to the fuel issue that we're speaking about today, that the country, again, is in day 2 of a standstill.
Yes.
She said, this is not the president's fault. It's not his problem. This falls squarely at the foot of Parliament. In this case, the National Assembly.
Which is the deputy leader, right?
True.
But quite interesting.
But that you have a responsibility to go sit there and figure this thing out. So that means that there is a solution. But we're not being pointed to the solution. What is the solution to this? Many have said, you've just talked about where all this money goes in terms of these levies. If we're talking about the landed cost of fuel being 117 shillings, that's the truth. 117 shillings is the landed cost of fuel. The remaining 125 shillings is in taxes and levies.
Yes.
Number one, if we're talking about diesel, all right? Now, she says that this can be sorted out at Parliament. We need to go sit down. There were calls for Parliament through the day yesterday saying, come on, somebody should have recalled Parliament. A member of Parliament said that Parliament needs to come back from recess and have this conversation about what we can do. So that means that there's something that can be done, but there is no appetite to do it, right?
I totally agree. I wish I was seated here with Gladys. to hear her say that. And I would have asked her to tell me exactly which pro-people bill has seen day of light in that house, right? And which government-sponsored bill has failed in that house. The only one that ever failed was the finance bill of 2024, and because the house got back up.
Do you know what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
That 290 plus members of parliament who have the delegated responsibility constitutionally for the people to go and represent on their behalf have not been able to pass anything that is people-centered.
I know what I'm saying, and that is what I'm saying. That's why I said the moment we started having part of parliament saying we're in government, that's when we lost it. That they say we're in government, and they see others not being in the government. Clive is seen as huyo sio wa serikali, right? To a point when we've raised very good issues, very good proposals, even in their own bills. Yeah. But because I sit on the other side, it is just rubbish that huyo sio wa serikali, right? I remember when the when this tax on us, what is it called? Is it the SHA? Or something, when they said we are taxed on gross, right?
Yes, on gross.
It's taxed on gross, and even I think even the housing, you're taxed on gross. So I had put an amendment trying to say, let it be taxed on the basic, right? Of course, you guys have won this thing. You've gone. It has to be there, but can it be applied on the basic rather than gross?
So you take more home,
right? So that you allow people to take something home. You're finishing people's pay slips, right? I was shouted down.
What does that mean?
I was told I lost on that amendment. But do you know the moment we walked to the cafeteria? That's when it dawned on people. It's like, Clive, you are right on this. You are right on. I told them, okay, take your own pay slip as a member of parliament.
Do the math.
Do the math. Your basic is 400 and something. Your gross is 1 million. I was even actually, even if I was not advocating for money, look at your own payslip. That's when they were like, you are right. But I was like, why did you? But because on that side, there's always someone, be it the whip or the majority leader, who when the vote is about to be called, you see him giving a sign, whether it is this or it is this, right? So you wonder. It's like you ask someone, did you go through what I was presenting? Did you listen to me? But they listened to me now when we're at the cafeteria.
I mean, Clive, as a member of parliament who sits there, and because we also had a member of parliament here who told us that there was a time when he stood on a point of order, challenging a bill that was there, but he was assumed because it was on a matter of quorum in the House, and he stood up.
That happened severally,
you know, and literally speaking, he was ignored. The matter continued without quorum, which then, if we are to follow the standing orders and even the law, whatever was discussed that day and passed is actually illegal.
Yes,
you know, is actually illegal. And this is a house that is supposed to represent Mwananchi now. The Speaker and the leadership of the House, the leader of majority, why push on agenda that clearly flouts the law? Is Parliament captured? Or is it that Parliament has just ceded power, the leadership of Parliament?
I don't know how to put it. I don't want to use... my colleague Kibagendi used those words and he got suspended out of the House. But I think by saying that, I've answered you.
Okay.
We know what you think. So we're looking at, I mean, whichever way you choose to look at it, however thin you slice it, it is very clear that there's something going on that obviously is not pro-people.
A lot is going on that's not pro-people. Let's say a lot, not something.
Okay.
A lot. And some of us are quite uncomfortable. And when you see some of us passionately behind Linda Mwananchi, is because, you know, we do feel that really we are not doing the right thing. And we are not doing what we're supposed to do as a house to represent the people. Because it pains some of us because we come from the constituencies where young people have graduated, they don't have jobs. We are dealing with the number of calls you get because family members are sick, and they reach to the hospital and they're told, no, this one you have to pay cash. In the village, when you tell someone to pay 5,000, that's a mountain to climb. All that ends up in our desk. Yet we'll hear someone saying, no, SHA and SHIFA are really working very well. They go cherry pick some few examples who may have even never been sick anywhere to give testimonies, right? And then we hear William all over the place saying that I have enrolled how many people onto SHA? Because he's really wrote on that the other day.
30 million.
30 million. Yeah. So I usually sit, I'm like, who exactly are you addressing here? We are not fools. So there was this bus we took. It was coming from Mombasa, right? And then in Tito and Day, either we felt we need to change the bus, and we brought another bus, right? And in every stage, you are carrying two people. You see, so you have an average of people you've been carrying in every stage. Then you change this bus. So you move every passenger who was in the previous bus into this bus. And the journey continues. Do you count these as your new recruits or people going on with the journey? William should be telling us, over and above what NHIF had and what annually NHIF was bringing on board, what extra? That is what he should be telling us. But you cannot go count everything that was in NHIF. They had no option. They had to move. It was a change of bus. So he's very good at throwing in numbers that sometimes are not even his. He carries things that are not even his. He's been talking about having employed 100,000 teachers, out of which 44,000, the court keeps saying, are being abused because internship is not legal, right? But he's counting them. The
44,000.
The 44,000 are, there's a part of that 100 he keeps claiming he has employed. Those people are underemployed. And underemployment is as good as not being employed. And then, secondly, he didn't create those jobs. The moment we changed our curriculum, it was automatic and definite that
the demand was there.
The demand was going to be there. So these are jobs that were created 11, 12 years ago. So that is William for you. He knows how to play with words. And the reason he does not play those words on official platforms, he does it on the rooftop of his car, you cannot hold him to account. Because even in Parliament, what he says in the roof of the car has no standard in Parliament. You cannot use it.
You cannot use it. Okay.
Yes, because, that one has no evidence. It has no,
There's no record.
If he promises you a school from the top of the car, the reason you will never see it, it's because legally it's not binding.
It's not been budgeted for.
It's not budgeted for.
One of the things that comes out into the minds of people when you look towards a new political dispensation or a new leadership agenda is that folks want to know what you will do. And that's one of the things that struck a lot of people, especially yesterday, where we can talk about the numbers and the -7 shillings, add 4%, all of that, and look at what it all comes out to be. The person who yesterday needed to make their 400 shillings to then be able to feed their family doesn't know about maintenance levy or whatever.
Correct.
They want to understand what is it going to take for this thing to come to an end so that I may go do my job, earn what I'm going to earn, and then feed my family at the end of the day. They're the ones who want to understand why then do I have to, if I were to go and find something to do, my children are not going to go to school for whatever reason, do I have to find some form of care for them and pay 150 shillings? It may sound like a menial number, but for somebody to say that they need to look for 150 shillings to take care of their children or put them in a daycare somewhere so that they can walk to town, get something to do, and then walk back home. These are the realities that we are dealing with today. And people are saying, okay, well, that's great. But what is the solution to this? Is it waiting for an election? Is it shouting every day and saying that this change must come? Is it having rallies and pronouncing the intent to want to take over leadership? What is it going to take to change the situation in the pockets and homes of Kenyans today? Who are in the majority that look for this solution?
First of all, I think there is no better people who understand what 50 shilling means to the people more than some of us rural constituency members of parliament. And sometimes it's painfully so. We interact with our constituents, and as I've said, we know what they're going through. Now, in Kenya, is the taxes and levies really the problem? For me, that is not the problem. It becomes a problem when we cannot account properly and prudently for the taxes we've taken from Mwananchi. If you tax Kenyans and they're able to walk to hospital and get treated, if you tax Kenyans and the roads don't have potholes, if you tax Kenyans and public education sector has quality, right, and properly funded, and you're comfortable that your child can go to class and get education because your taxes are working, then Kenyans will be willing to pay taxes. The problem today is the taxes are seen in a few people. You've seen people carrying cash. Why are you carrying cash in today's time with the M-Pesa, with the mobile money and all that? You can swipe your card and anything. Why are we walking around to be seen a bag full of cash and led by the presidency itself? That he's promising, I'll give you this money, and then instead of transferring the money to whatever agency has promised, someone is sent to some place and carries cash. It's to go into people's mind that I have the money, right? And those are our taxes. So what we are saying as Linda Mwananchi is this. There are those taxes that can be brought down. Let them be brought down. And for the ones that cannot be brought down, because for government to run, taxes have to be paid, irrespective of where you live. Can we see what those taxes are actually doing? Are they helping the common Mwananchi? Because we're talking about the public sector. For the person who is able, they rarely attend to use the public sector. They take their kids to private schools, they go to private hospitals and all that, right? We are talking about the public sector. Are we able to have this money reflect in the public hospitals? Is there medicine? Why do I go get the doctor checks on me and then SHA pays all that? But when it reaches to the medication, SHA says, the hospital says you have to go and buy the medication. Then why did I go to the hospital? The reason of going to hospital is to get Medicare. Medicare is medication. If you remove medication, just the doctor told me you are sick of malaria, but doesn't give me the medicine, I go home with the same problem I came with. Actually worse off, because I now know the disease that I have may take me out any time. You see, I go home with more depression. So what we're saying is, if we take over whatever group that is not the current Kenya Kwanza, if we take over Linda Mwananchi and whoever we may work with, the first thing is to put the common Mwananchi interests first. Ensure that healthcare is affordable, not affordable actually, is free and accessible right at your sub-county hospital. You don't need to come to Nairobi. People still have to come for this cancer treatment in Nairobi. Why can't we have it in every county? Is it really too expensive that a country cannot afford? I don't think so.
You see, Clive, what Kenyans are grappling with today is with the promises that Linda Mwananchi is giving Kenyans may equate it to the same promises that Kenya Kwanza gave Kenyans as they were campaigning. You know? They had this manifesto including charters with the different groups. We get in, we will do this. We get in, we will do that. And with what Kenyans are saying, the way they've been let down, it is difficult for them to trust.
I would like Kenyans also.
And one would want to say, all right, so this is the promise, but how sure are we that you will follow it through and deliver?
I will totally distance ourselves to being compared to Kenya Kwanza for one obvious reason.
Yeah.
Number one, Linda Mwananchi is actually predominantly a faction of ODM that does not agree with the broad-based that arrangement, right? Linda Mwananchi, the other membership is drawn from the wide Azimio, as it were, right? One thing I'll tell you is that these are the same people, led by Baba, may his soul rest in peace, who kept telling them, that guy is a liar. That guy is presenting himself like someone very new. But that's the same guy who promised you stadiums. As it Mr. 666. Yeah, 6 months. The guy has just become like Emperor Nero. You know? This guy is the one who promised you the stadiums. And then nicely managed to package him as not being part of government. While drawing the salary of a deputy president right to the end. But made sure people feel like, no, I'm not part of it. Actually, that is a government of Uhuru and Baba. But I can't remember where Baba was elected to be that government.
No, he was not.
You see, where Baba got a contract to survive, that's neither here or there, what we are looking at constitutionally. But this is the person we told him. This is the person who was giving stadiums in Wote. That's the one I remember very well.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it has materialized.
It has not.
This is the guy who commissioned 2 roads in my constituency. As a deputy president, I have the photos of him on that excavator.
Are the roads done?
Done where?
Okay.
By who? That's the character. And we kept telling them, this is the same guy. And he's smart. He realized he's not going to sell his agenda to the head. He's going to target the emotional part. And that's why he focused staying in church and crying tears. Oh, this is a good man, God-fearing man. This one we can trust. Oh, did he cry in the pulpit? Oh, let's vote for him. And we're like, no, you're being conned. It's now dawning on us. Linda Mwananchi is the same group that was behind Baba, which kept saying, we want an open, transparent leadership that is listening to the people. What we are bold. What we are saying is, we can only work with people who have even a record of doing something that touches on Mwananchi. Crime rate is going high. Right? This is the same government that says they will not use brute force on Mwananchi. Right? Yesterday, Derek, a student of Sigalagala, was shot dead right in the head. A young man, 22 years, second year, Polish student doing engineering, who was part-timing as a tuk-tuk rider, was killed. For what? You saw a young man in Nairobi yesterday, Kiplimo. He's being arrested in the streets of Nairobi. He was even shouting in his mother tongue, Kalenjin. Arap Ruto, what have I done to you? You see? But this is the person who said, those are things of the past.
The past will not happen anymore.
It will never happen again.
Do you feel that members of parliament, and I know we can use different words, but do you feel that members of parliament who are actually the engine of making sure that things happen in the country are helpless if you say that in this term, not one pro-people bill has passed, according to what you've said,
Yes.
but that we have had government forwarded bills that have actually gone through, or rather that they have not failed. Do you feel then that Parliament is helpless? Because the fundamental role is to represent the people's interests.
Yes.
In all that you do, whether you're making the budget, whether you're making the law, whether you're oversighting, the fundamental agenda is to protect the people.
The people.
Now, if that is not happening, there's a reason why it's not happening. And what's to say that that reason will not show its ugly head again when another person is given an opportunity?
I think now Kenyans are woke. And I would like to say that very confidently.
Okay.
I'm looking at the youths of this country. And has Parliament let down Kenyans? sadly,
monumentally.
yes, even me. And I take collective responsibility because it's a house and it's about the vote. As a house, yes, we have let down the Kenyan people. That one I will say in broad daylight, and I will repeat. We've really not done enough to help the common Mwananchi, right? Are we expecting a radical shift? If the young people whom I believe and trust will wake up and go and vote, not just for the presidency. And I would like to tell the young people that don't focus just on the presidency. Do not go voting a political party. Yeah. That is where we've gotten it wrong. That we go, do you know there are some county assemblies that do not have an opposition side or minority side? That you go somewhere, you find from top to bottom, it's a party. At that point, you compromise the element of checks and balances. I would like to ask the young people, wake up and go and vote. First of all, register to vote if you've not.
Okay.
Because if you're not voting, and if you're not registering to vote, you're actually part of the problem. Yeah. Let us go there, vote for individuals. If it is Clive, listen to him, see if it's someone you can trust, and vote for Clive.
Okay.
The day we'll have a house where you have a president who does not have a majority in the house, the country will start working. Because everything will require bipartisan approach. That is what America does. Yeah. You find Americans will never give any president super majority in any of the houses. Either they will give you are the president. Look at Barack. Yeah. Barack really used to suffer. You could only have a majority maybe of one in Congress and a minority in Senate, right? At that point, everything that has to do with Mwananchi, you must go and sit and get a bipartisan approach. But the moment we wake up and one party rides into office as the president, and 140 or 180 members of parliament. Remember, in Kenya, parties are not ideologies. Actually, parties are buses owned by individuals. There is no way you will disagree me in my bus.
So with the majority of 180, for example, they've been given marching orders in terms of what they must do. Does it seem as though, or is it the case, whereby you can almost expect that somebody who makes a part of the majority then has already received their orders, and then whether it sounds ridiculous or whether it sounds like it makes sense, they're going to pass a particular thing if they're on that side? Is that's what it looks like to us? Is that what actually happens?
You've heard the line, drawing the party. It is the party position. Yeah. I think you've heard of that.
Yes.
Party position. That's actually what it means, what you've put in so many words. Party position. But remember, I've told you, the party is owned. It has its own. So once he said something, that becomes the party position. This shenanigans you hear, that it is neck, that is that. Where did you hear those necks? Yeah. You just hear it was a party position. The owner of the party calls his leader representative in the house and says this is a party position. That's why I've told you there is that,
Yes, the
sign.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And these are things, it is always aired. If you are very keen during those voting and a camera is zoomed around that area, you will notice what I'm saying. So once we stop electing like that, and I'm seeing young people will actually do us that favor, will do us that favor come 2027, whereby they will elect individuals. I think we'll start to have a sensible house, a house that now knows who are, they are responsive to their bosses.
Yeah, I mean, Clive, you speak about individuals who, and I'm sorry to paint it like this, but many out here say, we really hope that individuals who get here would not forget their heads after the election, that they carry their heads and their brains with them, such that when they get to the house, they use their heads to think on what is pro-Mwananchi. But let's switch a little bit, because now here we talk about a house that has access to reports that come to you, say, from the Auditor General and all that. In terms of the way Kenyans are being taxed today, and the wastage that is being reported, you've just painted individuals where we see where our taxes go because individuals are working with
hard cash.
With hard cash, right? How big or how bad is the problem? Because you have access to this information because the Auditor General brings it to you. How bad is it? And why can't Parliament say no to that?
The part of Parliament said no. I think we've explained it.
Yes.
How bad is
bad?
it? I don't think whether bad is the right word. No. It is dangerously bad. Yeah. I don't think using the word bad is even can really express the gravity of the situation.
When you see a request of an additional billions to say State House, 17 billion shillings.
You should ask yourself.
You pass it though, Clive.
Yeah.
I've told you now how the house.
Yeah, I get it. You get the sign.
Yeah, and I take part of that responsibility because it is our house, right? It is our house. The situation is bad, but you asked how will Kenyans believe that they won't be elected and again be the same? I think we usually say we move a step at a time. Today you have Clive.
Yes.
I have stood my ground on it. Look at my voting patterns in that house. I have been consistent, right? It's not only me alone.
Yeah.
There are several members of Parliament. It's just that we are not, when it comes to the vote, it's about the vote. It has to be cast, it has to be counted. You lose, and that's the decision of the House. We carry that decision collectively. But are there people, you can draw inspiration from the ones that are there in the House, that we do have those. So if we have more of this, right? I have been in that house, right? I believe, and I stand, and I say what I believe to me matters to the people. So we can draw inspiration. You cannot give up. We can't surrender, because if we surrender, they win. You don't surrender. When we go to the streets, the people are going to the streets. By going out, they're passing a message. Can they be there? No, at the end of the day, they can't be there for, unforeseen, whatever. But are they passing a message? Yes. The question is the listening side listening? And I'm surprised that after 2024, we didn't learn a lesson. I'm really, because I had the arrogance, of the responses coming from that side yesterday. And I was cringing because I was like, didn't we learn? These people are crying. They are can't you even be, have some respect in the way you respond to them? Because if you're going to say, no, this is beyond whatever, we are drawing inspiration from the Deputy President, William, sometime while he was campaigning and telling us how external issues do not affect pricing here. Actually, we're just using his line and we're telling them, no, precedence was set. The way the courts sometimes refer to a ruling someone. We are actually doing that. We are just using his words and telling them, hey, Prophet, this is what you said, and these were your words. We are not accusing you falsely. No, we are using you what you taught us. You are our professor. We learned from you. We are referencing your notes. We wrote this on this day. You said it. So we are just saying it kindly. The Iran war has no business with us. The G2G arrangement, that was a bad idea right from day one. And I told them, I remember talking to KJ, we were with him in some foreign trip. I told him that one is a bad idea. That one is a bad idea. I would advise you don't go that route, because the day it will bite you nicely.
And it's already doing that.
It is doing that. There's another issue here that many people are not seeing, the long con that's working. KPC gets listed, right? A company called Gulf Energy is given contracts for what do you call that thing in Turkana?
Talo.
Right? And then you guys are not seeing what's happening. Some refinery is proposed in Tanga without the host president even being aware of it. That was a decoy. So that the following day, Dangote comes and says, no, I was not interested in Tanga. I was interested in Mombasa. KPRL is your target. Revamp it. Gulf Energy again gets the contract, because your crude oil cannot be transported below 40 degrees. That makes it quite expensive, right? So let's refine our crude in Mombasa, right? Who has taken over? Gulf. Gulf starts producing. But you have to blend your crude with sweet Brent.
Yes.
From elsewhere to make it. Otherwise, you'll have too much of wax content, which is bitumen.
Yeah.
Therefore, the economies of scale will not work in favor. Once they start doing that, Gulf gets a percentage of imports for crude, and figures will start being channeled out of the amount they're producing per day. And then the refinery, as usual, will go down. And Gulf will have to be, during maintenance, will be told to import now white product, which is finished product, equivalent of what they've been churning out, to a KPC that they technically own.
Right. So it's just business remains in the family, essentially.
The whole thing now, at some point, the refinery again will die, as we do things in Africa, but now Gulf will be the one importing for their quota of what they were producing at the refinery. It was a one long con.
But these things come out, I think, at the times that they do, then...
by then, it's too late. You've signed a 50-year
deal.
For you to reverse it, you know how contracts are done in Kenya. I give you a contract knowing I will not honor it, and then I'm forced to pay you.
Time doesn't allow us to go into a lot more of these things, and that's why the conversations like this must continue.
Right.
We want to thank you, although maybe that we would like to hear more from you. We want to thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
And that the hope is that even I hear a cry to say to Kenyans to make the right decision later, and that cry seems to be coming from the folks on the inside. Clive Gisairo is the Member of Parliament for Kitutu Masaba. Has been our guest this hour. Thank you. We're looking forward to the next one.
Thank you very much.
Asante, good morning at 8 a.m.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM. This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
In a world drowning in half-truths, in whispers,